Merry Christmas, everyone. A year ago, I started a fundraiser, and I want to give you an update on that fundraiser and where I am now, a year later. So, with your donations, I was able to pay all of my dental bills. So, thank you so much. And since that time, I have done a lot of research and I have made some progress in certain areas. And so I want to share that with you. And I also want to request your ongoing support. And I will share what that support looks like moving forward. So, since that time, I have come to understand that there is a high likelihood that I have a mutation in my collagen called hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. And in order to get diagnosed, I would have to pay $1,000 or several $1,000s, but I have many of the symptoms of this disorder. And on the extreme end of this disorder, people have they're contortionists and they can bend their bodies in all different kinds of ways. For me, I'm definitely on the less extreme end of that spectrum. And I can do things like this, where my fingers bend way far back, more than normal. This disorder is frequently underdiagnosed, and many people suffer from these symptoms without knowing that they have a mutation in their collagen. And so the way this shows up for me, and I won't go into too much detail, but it has shown up as scoliosis or hunchback, and it has actually shown up as gastroesophageal reflux disease, which is basically chronic acid reflux. I have had bunions, and so I may have some ligament laxity in my feet, which causes me to have bunions. It has shown up as having low blood pressure. Whenever I have gotten my blood pressure tested, it has always been really low. And I have thought, oh, great. Well, then I'm not at risk for heart disease or stroke or anything like that. But it has also meant that I have been very cold all of my life and I have had poor circulation. And so I'm always bundling up when everyone is shedding all of their layers. And so I have found an explanation for a lot of things that I have had throughout my life, and especially with my mental health. People with Ehlers-Danlos frequently have anxiety and depression as a result of this collagen defect, and low blood pressure is actually directly associated and causal, according to scientific studies, with depression and anxiety. So if you have low blood pressure, that might be a cause for mental health issues. So I want to share with you some of my fears and insecurities about asking for your support, because I realized in my first video that I created a lot of what I wanted, but there were some things that I want to discreate. And so I'm going to share some of those anxieties and fears because I think that that will create space for me to have freedom to be exactly who I want to be. So I know that I am an incredibly powerful and capable woman despite having all of these struggles with my health. And I know that I am incredibly capable of helping others and teaching and serving others. And so I feel like I am in a position similar to Moses when he asked the house of Israel to raise up his arms. And as Moses and the house of Israel were wandering in the wilderness for 40 years, they came up against these nomadic raiders called the Amalekites. and the Amalekites were attacking them. And as long as Moses held up his arms, the Israelites prevailed. But as he lost strength, the Israelites would they would start losing the battles. And so I'm asking you, as my friends and family, to please help me to fulfill my calling and to fulfill my purpose here on the earth. And I need your help and I need your support. And so I say that because one of my fears and my insecurities is that I have to prove that I'm miserable so people will help me, and so that people don't withdraw their support from me. And that if people think that I'm okay, they'll stop helping me. And I want to feel free to be happy when I feel happy and sad when I feel sad. And so I ask for your support when I'm happy, especially when I'm happy, because I know all you want for me is to be happy. Another fear and insecurity that I have, that is maybe my biggest fear and insecurity, is that a man won't want me knowing everything that's wrong with me or everything that I think that is wrong with me, and that I'm not lovable exactly the way that I am, and that I need to improve or fix myself physically or mentally in order to be lovable. And it doesn't even feel possible because I feel like I'm never going to arrive. I'm never going to get there. And so, but that is a fear of mine, if I'm fully authentic and vulnerable, that a man won't want me because he'll know that I'm messed up. Another fear and insecurity that I have is that if I have a few nice things, or if I take care of myself emotionally with money, I'll be judged for being irresponsible with sacred funds that are donated to me. And that if I actually take care of my mental health, that's not okay, and that my mental health isn't as important as my physical health. That is probably, yes, that is one of my biggest fears, is that I will be judged for taking care of myself in the ways that I feel like are best. Another of my fears is that if I don't get better or improve, that I will have wasted the help that I've received, and that people will judge me and make me wrong for not getting better, that maybe I should have chosen to do something else, and that it was stupid for me to choose what I chose, or I didn't do everything that I could to heal. And I'm afraid that it's not okay for me to have a bad day and to give up. And the fact is that those of us that have these chronic conditions, sometimes we just want to give up. I can't avoid that. And so I'm afraid that people will feel like it's not okay for me to want to give up sometimes. Because of the chronic back pain that I have had, there have been times that I have not wanted to be here, that I have been suicidal. And these other issues, I feel like I could live with for the rest of my life. But with this back pain, sometimes it has felt absolutely unbearable, and like I can't go any longer like this. And so there have been days and sometimes months that I have just wanted to give up. And I guess I have accepted that about myself. And I ask you to accept that about me, that some days I'm going to want to fight and some days I'm going to want to give up. Another fear that I have is people assuming that I haven't done everything in my power. I haven't done the research, and questioning my judgment, thinking that I don't know what I'm talking about. I have spent days, weeks on end. I've spent years trying to understand myself, both mentally, emotionally, spiritually, as well as physically. And I'm very smart. And so I guess I have this fear that you will think that I haven't made the right choice in my choice of treatment or in my efforts. I think the biggest fear that I have is truly feeling like people will coddle me or treat me like I'm weak or a victim, or like I'm not equally as capable of contributing to the world as they are. And endlessly trying to help me instead of letting me help them. I don't ever want to be someone that is a burden on other people. I think that is my greatest fear, is I'm afraid of being a burden on other people. But deep down, I know how powerful and amazing and talented I am, and that I have the power within me and the knowledge and the wisdom and the skills and the training to make such a massive difference in the world. And I want to be treated like that. And I want to be seen as that powerful person. And that I do know that God has given me weakness that I might be strong. And to keep me humble. Because if I didn't have these struggles, I likely would be much more prideful than I already am. So I'm grateful for these struggles to keep me humble, and they're not a mistake, and it's not because I'm weak, and it's not because anything is wrong with me. And I want to be honored as such. And so I ask you for your support, and I ask you to hold up my arms as I fulfill my mission and my calling on this earth. And I ask you to do that with your donation. I love to hear your suggestions, but truly I have grown wary of people trying to fix me or trying to tell me things that I already know. I appreciate that. I am willing to receive any help that you are willing to give me, but what I really need is I need your donations. What is ahead for me is I have an appointment in Denver in 3 weeks on December 14th. I need to come up with roughly around $5,000 for this treatment. This treatment is called platelet-rich plasma therapy, and they're going to inject my discs in my vertebrae with a solution that will stimulate healing and growth and regeneration of the discs in my vertebrae. The alternative to this is surgery. And as you may already know, surgery is not actually healing the body. Surgery is putting a Band-Aid, and it creates a problem where you'll eventually have to get more and more surgeries. I ask that you trust my judgment in this. Again, I have spent days and weeks studying all of this, and years. I will need to get 2 MRIs. I already had an MRI on my thoracic spine. I will need another MRI on my neck and my lower back. And I'm actually getting those for a decent price in Denver, but I will also need assistance in getting to and from Denver Um, and right now I don't have transportation. If anyone would love to give me a car, then I will gladly receive. But I will probably need to fly into Denver and rent a car, and I may need a travel companion because I don't know how I'm going to be after I get this. It's technically a surgery. So, well, it's an invasive procedure in any case. So that is what is up ahead of me. That is the most pressing need that I have, is to get out of pain within my back. I need assistance with other things as well. My vitamin regimen is very expensive, as well as I have a form of OCD that I have never addressed. And I don't have insurance right now. And by the way, this procedure in Denver does not accept insurance. So that is why that it is so expensive. It is a new technology. Well, it's not entirely new, but it's new enough that the medical world hasn't accepted it as far as insurance goes. I would love to address this OCD that I have, and it's a type of OCD that I don't feel comfortable sharing online, but I have a cousin that owns a very successful and a treatment center up in Bountiful that I would like to be able to pay for one of these therapists in helping me. And it may be months of therapy. I don't know. I don't know how long it will take, but it's very successful and very well known throughout the country. And so it would be wonderful to be able to afford that. But as of right now, I have not been able to afford that. So right now, my immediate need is somewhere around $5,000. But if I were to get treatment for OCD and be able to support myself in these other ways with these other issues that I have, I will need more support than that. And again, I'm so grateful for everyone that has supported me both emotionally and financially up to this point. And I want to publicly recognize people that donated to me a year ago, whether a small or a larger donation. Carlos Nelson, Rex Biggers, Dusty Jorgensen, Paul Peterson, my cousin, Aaron Rock, Darcy Greenman, H. I don't know who that was, Michael White, my brother Tim, Jeff Hoffman, Lindsay Johnson, FL, Ren Mason, JH, my cousins Paul and Kimberly, Michael Brown, Allison Showalter, who I don't know, that donated $500, Tim Britton, Anonymous Coward, Brian Christensen, Travis Turner, who I don't know, who donated $1,000, Angie Rawlings, and Jonathan Day. And I just want to thank you again for your donation last year. And if you feel so inclined to continue supporting me, I greatly appreciate that. And if you don't, that is perfectly fine. And I am so grateful for all and any of you that want to support me in your heart, and those future donors that support me financially. Thank you and Merry Christmas. I am so grateful for each and every one of you that have helped me to become my greatest self. I could not do this life without you. I need you. And I have lived a lot of my life pretending like I don't need anyone. But I need you, and I need your support, and I need your help. And I trust you that you will trust me to help myself and do what I need to do to heal and get better so that I can be the gift that I came here to be. Truly, my greatest fear has been, above all of these fears and insecurities, has been that I won't feel good enough to hold my babies on my hips and to carry them and to nurture them and to take care of them. But I believe in the promises that have been given to me. And I call forth the miracles that have been promised to me, that I will heal and that I will have children, and those children will be a joy to me. And so I ask you to support my dreams and to support my mission as I go forth and be the gift that I am to the world. Thank you. God bless. Namaste. And Merry Christmas.